Hello, hello, hello. I am Nadi Young, owner and founder of Venture Teams. I'm a business consultant and I help people who help people. And this
Okay.
is,
Hi, I am Michael Clare. I do all the things in many different ways, but but currently my focus is on social media management. I help people, especially brick and mortar businesses, kind of pivot onto the online and grow their following and their brand identity.
so since it's brick and mortar businesses that you help, is it only local or?
Oh no, it's no, and it's not only solely brick and mortar, but that's like been the biggest thing since the pandemic. A lot of the people that do own brick and mortar shops have been looking for ways to pivot and make sure that their income remains stable. But I also assist with online boutiques and various consulting firms and things like that as well. So it's all over the country.
Yeah,
Soon to be all over the world. Let's go ahead and claim that. Let's claim it.
that part, right? We and I'm trying to catch flights to your clients.
That's right. Let's go.
No, I love it. I love it. So tell me about your business. Tell me about, but you run more than one thing, right?
I
So,
do. I have several. So I also have Snooty Vegans, which is kind of like it's a vegan lifestyle journey. And then I also help people transition if they would like to transition to a vegan life. So I do a coaching with that. Most of it is basically group coaching because a lot of people need the additional support and accountability. So definitely do that. And then also have a home bakery. Custom cakes and cupcakes and all the treats and all the things for your birthday parties, holidays, weddings, things of that nature. And I own an online shop for vegan t-shirts. My thing is always like say it with your chest so you don't have to say it with your mouth. So, if I say, hello, I'm a vegan here,
then you don't have to say
then
it
I
the
don't
other
have to say it here. And then if people are interested in having conversation about it, we can. But if not, I don't, push it on anybody. So let's see, I'm also an artist. So I do different art things around town. I've had a couple pieces at the McNichols building here in Denver. I've been a part of the Black Mural Festival, the Black Museum for Black Girls, and also the Culture Museum. So just to name a few things,
all the things to
all
all,
the things.
and your mom, and
Oh yeah.
so that means you're the chef and you're
Oh
the
yes.
laundry, you're the chauffeur,
Laundry,
you're the,
the house manager,
yes,
the
you're the
gardener,
maid.
the maid, the cleaner, the housekeeper.
Right. So, you have lots of experience being all the things, right?
Yes, yes, all the things.
So how is that like being on the owner of, because a lot of people come to me and they're like, Nadi, I don't know what business idea to start, right?
Mhm,
And you have multiple businesses going and
mhm,
you have to be all the things for the
mhm,
guy and the kids and
mhm.
you know.
That's right.
So what is that like? What is it like being and doing all the things? How do you manage it all?
Let's be real. It can be completely overwhelming some days, right? Especially with this time change we just had, right?
Whoever said to skip an hour of sleep needs
Was-
to be hurt.
yeah, they were mistaken. So yes, but it can be extremely overwhelming. I'll be honest with you. I do meditate in the morning and I meditate at night before I go to sleep. It kind of helps me to be present in the moment
Mm,
versus worrying about what tomorrow may bring, what the next hour may bring. So I do believe in being present because that's the best way to kind of keep everything under control. Like, what am I doing right now versus what 10,000 things do I have to do tomorrow or the next day or the next day. I
mm.
also make sure that I exercise. I'm not trying to give a plug to Peloton, but plug to Peloton.
Listen, I like that little app. I can't lie.
Yeah, I love a Peloton.
Don't
So
I
that
like-
that does help. It helps because you need some sort of like movement to keep your mind and your body strong and healthy, and to keep going and keep up the energy that you need to make it through the day and to do all the things. So deep breaths, going for a walk, getting outside, fresh air, not being afraid. Well, I am kind of afraid to ask for help. Sometimes I don't always do that like I should, but asking for help when it's necessary. For instance, like taking our son to Muay Thai practice, things like that. So just have to kind of have a good balance and just do. And some things, you know what? Some things go on the back burner for the day. You have to prioritize and then figure out what the most important things are, what the one thing is that can kind of make your day go that much easier. And as long as you accomplish that one thing, then you should feel like you've accomplished something for the day.
Mm,
That was
yeah,
very long-winded, wasn't it?
but it makes sense. That's the
I love the I love the fingerprint.
question. Because it was just so eloquent, it was just, yes, it was.
Thank you.
So yeah, one of the things I feel like, as especially to me as moms, right?
Mhm.
We get stepped on a lot of times
Mm.
because we want to do all the things. Sometimes we step on ourselves. Our dreams, we throw our dreams out the window, like following behind the kids, following behind the man,
Mhm.
doing,
Mhm.
being all the things.
Correct.
And it's really hard to maintain that balance. And I think that the real key that a lot of people miss is having good boundaries, and
Mm.
just being able to say, like you said, not today for some
Mhm.
things, being able to say, I'll get to that later, and knowing inside of your inner parts that that's okay.
That's right.
Right. Um, okay. But we're here to talk
Yeah.
about you
Oh,
and your artiste. Um, so tell me about the, okay, pretty much everything you do is in some way, shape, or form art related.
yes.
Okay. Why?
That's a very good question. I'll be honest with you. Like when I was younger, I was extremely artistic. I loved to write stories and, sculpt things and just everything that happened in art class. I was just all in. That was like my thing. So then, I got my bachelor's degree in social work and I got my master's degree in, well, excuse me, in social work, master's degree in social work. And so then, I kind of was on this career path. I was a professional for, gosh, 15 plus years.
Mm,
So then when the pandemic hit, I left my 9 to 5, right? After many, many, like a decade plus, and decided that it was time to do something else. So then, when you kind of like go through a personal journey and trying to figure out what makes you happy, and when you turn such and such years old, it kind of you have like this increasing such and such years old. You have this increasing desire to make sure that you're living like your life's purpose and you're in your zone of genius. And so I think, the one thing that I kept going back to was my creativity and
mm,
expressing myself like through art. And art is also therapeutic. Art is a way to create something out of nothing. It's a way to express your feelings, if you're happy, sad, mad, glad, all of the above. And I just like it. It made sense to me. It
mm,
made perfect sense to me. And then, like I said, all of the things that I do in my businesses all relate directly to being artistic. And that includes my graphic design, social media management, content creation, my cake business, my painting, all of that. So I don't know, it's like where I feel most at home, if that makes sense.
mm.
Mhm.
Yeah, and like feeling at home, I feel like as an entrepreneur, as a business
Mhm.
owner, it's really important, because if you don't feel at home, if you don't feel like yourself, you can only pretend for so long, right? Like you can
Right.
only be somebody else for so long, which kind of, you know, brings us into what we came to talk about, which is, you know, you um I asked you your number one piece of advice for
Mhm.
people who are looking for what to do, what to say when it comes down to being in business and creating their own marketing and putting themselves out there, right?
Mhm.
Because I get that so often that I'm afraid, I don't know what to say. What do I post? How do I find content?
Mhm.
What do I? And so much money is spent on these things.
Yes.
Um, Answering questions that honestly is already in our heads, right?
That's right.
Um, and I wanted to ask you,
Mhm.
if someone were to ask you, what is the number one thing I can do? How do I create content? That kind of thing.
Mhm.
What would you say?
Mhm. Well, the first thing I ask, well, first and foremost, be your authentic self, right? That's what we've been talking about because nobody can be you better than you. No one has your story. No one has your experiences. Nobody is who you are. So I can be, for example, like I can be a vegan. I am a vegan, right? But I'm a vegan. I'm a Black woman. I'm a Pelotoner. You know what I mean? So I'm a mother. So there's so many other things that go along with that that make me me and differentiate me from other people. So it's important that you are your authentic self because that will draw the people to you that you want to work with or that you want in your business and around you and those type of things, right? So a lot of times I tell people, let's post pictures of yourself if you want to be the face of your brand, because then people can relate to you, and then your ideal client will be drawn to whatever it is that you're putting out because they can relate. It resonates with them. Your message resonates with them. It's interesting because I have a client now, and I keep telling her, I'm like, well, look at how well your posts are doing that have your backstory, that have your why, that have a picture of you front and center. And it's interesting because, some people are a little resistant to that because they're not so comfortable having themselves and their personal information and things like that. But it just resonates. And let me tell you, her followers ate it up. They were like, "Oh my gosh, this is so great and congratulations." And so I think that, a lot of people have a difficult time kind of like tooting their own horn, right? Like talking about their own accolades or knowing how wonderful they really are. And so a lot of times that's where I come in. I'm like, "Let's discuss the fact that you just won this award. Let's discuss the fact that you were just on this television program." You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you want to share that as something that makes you unique and special and really like an expert in your field. So
Right, right. And I'm so glad we're being felt out here in the comments. Like,
mhm.
yes, this is so me.
Yeah,
Listen, you are not alone
that's
because
right.
when I first started, I was like, oh, I don't want to show my face. People are
Mhm.
not going to feel me. What am I going to say? Who wants to hear from me? That was my
Yep.
number one question.
Yep.
Who wants to hear from little old me? And now here we are. Like, I've made more money than I thought I could ever make.
Mhm.
And I find myself even helping other people that have come on the show. They tell me, I've gotten clients from the show. And
Mhm.
I'm like, yes. So, it's like, no, people really do want to hear from me, right?
Exactly.
And somebody said something, one of my mentors
Mhm.
said something that really resonated with me and it made me put myself out there. And I just want to put it out there for anybody to hear. She said, in the beginning,
Mhm.
you'll care what other people think.
Mhm.
In the end, they'll care about what you have to say.
Facts.
And it's so true. Like in the beginning, you're like, why does my hair look like this? Why
Mhm.
do I look like that on camera?
Yeah.
What do I say? You're like, hi, 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 hi.
Yeah.
Trying to find 50 ways just to say hey, to introduce yourself. It's like I can't even say my own name.
Exactly.
It's so weird when you're first starting out, and then as you keep going, you realize like you said, I can just
Yeah.
me, just show
Well,
up.
yeah, and the thing is, a lot of times I think, they talk about imposter syndrome, right? Like not realizing how worthy you really are,
Mhm.
not knowing that your experiences and your journey is something that, like I said, resonates with people that people can just relate to. I think just kind of remembering that and just, I don't know, just be who you are because, like I said, there's nobody better to be you than you. You can't be anybody better than how you are for yourself, right? So
Right.
I don't know it, and I fall victim to that too. The whole like, oh, is my hair? What's my hair doing? Is my, you know what I mean? But people aren't there for your hair. They're here for, like you said, what you're teaching them, what value you can bring to their life.
Mhm.
Can I grow your business? Can I grow your following? Can I help you with conversions? That's the type of thing that people are interested in. Can you make me laugh as we do it? Can we enjoy the journey along the way you know, and really go get it and kick butt and take names together, right?
Right. Right. So let me ask you this. So, and a lot of people probably have this question, so I'm just gonna pose it differently. It doesn't. some would say I get on and
Mhm.
I put myself out there, but people don't show up,
Mhm.
right? And I would say this is just from me. In
Mhm.
the beginning, that's okay.
Mhm.
You're just getting started. When you're just getting started, if not a lot of people show up, say what you have to say. They may see it later. They may catch it on the replay, right?
Mhm.
But from you being a social
Mhm.
media manager, how
Mhm.
do you get people on there? And if people don't show up, like what do you do? How do you handle that?
Okay. Well, the main thing is consistency. So,
Mhm.
regardless if nobody shows up, one person shows up, not only are you gaining repetition, right? So, you're becoming more comfortable in your conversation, you're becoming more comfortable in the topics that you're talking about. So that's extremely important. So there's no, even if nobody's there, you're still there, right? So
Mm,
you're actually learning how you want to present the information. You're learning how you want to look on camera, if your lighting is right, how your sound system is. So there's other things that you can learn even if nobody is there. So that's
yeah.
the first
Practice
thing.
round.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That practice round be everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let me tell you, when nobody's there, that's when you can really, show your stuff, right? And be your true authentic
Right. That's
because
when
you're
you
like,
figure out who your authentic self is.
that's right. That's when you really can put on a show. So yeah, so don't the important thing is to not think of it as a loss because like I said,
Mhm.
you're always learning something. Is my lighting right? Does my chapstick look crazy in this lighting? You know what I mean? Something like that. So so trying to get people to show up, that can be interesting. So once you start to grow your following, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. I got a little overheated.
Oh, you're good.
Just tea.
Yep.
I was like,
Right.
tea. Hold on. I was about to spill the tea, and I was like, "Oh, no." Okay, so it can be challenging, but the thing that resonates with people is if you're consistent with your brand, if you're consistent with what it is that you're talking about, then people know who you are and what your identity is. So they know what your brand is, they know what you're talking about. A lot of ways to find these people is to go into different groups. Oh, excuse me, I'm overheating. Go into different groups that you feel like your ideal client will be, participative and active in. You
Mm.
can have conversation with them. You can respond if they have questions. Say it's about fitness. A lot of people ask, well, what should I eat after 5 o'clock or something like that? And if that's your area of expertise, you can go ahead and have conversations. So then, these people will kind of go back and look at your different social media platforms. You can even private message if you feel comfortable doing that and say, hey, I'm about to do a webinar or a live. I think you could really benefit from this. Excuse me. So, as long as you're giving things of value to people, a lot of times it's easier for them to kind of show up and trust what it is that you're presenting.
Yeah, and one thing I want to say about that too is a lot of times I get the question like, I don't want to give away too much.
Mhm.
And I always say like, if you're an expert, there is no such thing as too much. Your knowledge is
Endless.
overflowing, right? Yes.
Endless.
You should be constantly evolving and learning more and doing more. And so whatever you give, whatever you say, whatever you tell, like it should never be it'll never be everything. Like you can never give away everything. It's not possible as an expert. That is literally like that's the definition. You're
Mhm.
constantly learning, constantly evolving, constantly getting in more, right? So there
Right.
should be no fear about giving it away. Like start go in instead of thinking about not giving too much away, instead of thinking about holding it in, instead of thinking about holding it back, just go in with a mindset on service,
Mhm.
ready to give to people, ready to really connect with your audience. And I think that that's how you let people know that you're out here in these streets, right?
Very true.
You
Very
just give it away. Like you be your authentic self.
That's right.
And if you're the expert, you be the expert all the time. Just allow yourself to be free. Like why overthinking? I think overthinking it causes us to try to figure out what's the line, where do we want to hold back, and then from there we end up not doing anything. But I
Exactly.
think giving away more than you expected is better than doing nothing.
Well, I agree. Completely agree with that. And the other thing is too, like, you every individual that you work with is different. So
Mhm.
even if you give a lot of information, there's still going to be questions. Still going to be different situations, different circumstances. So there's always going to be something more to teach about a certain subject, right?
Right.
So I think that's the thing that's important to remember too, is that there's always going to be more information needed, especially in the age of social media platforms and technology. Everything is always evolving.
Right.
So it's
Right.
important to just remember that as long as you're evolving with whatever, your niche is, whatever you're an expert in, there's always going to be new information to be given.
And you know, this
Excuse
is
me.
just me saying what I do here, but the truth is when if I go out here, right, and I hold back from you and I withhold and I pretend like I don't really know just to try to get you in this thing. Number one, that comes off super salesy.
Yes, it does.
And I'm gonna call you weird. Okay. I'm just gonna call you weird. And number two, number two, I'm gonna think that you really don't know what you're doing.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be real with you. Because I feel like if you got to withhold certain information, give me a little piece of what you know and give me the rest later, you don't know that much about this.
It's true though.
You don't
It's
know
true.
that much.
It's true.
You don't know that much. Anybody that talk to me know any question they ask, if I got the answer, I'ma tell it. Now, if you're looking to find perfection,
Oh no.
don't ask me.
No.
I can't help you. But
No.
I have messed up a lot of things. And
Oh yeah.
I've figured out a couple things from all the mess ups.
Oh yeah. Oh
So, you know, and that's what makes me me, and that's what makes
yeah.
me
Mhm.
the expert in my
Mhm.
field, right?
Mhm.
Like the fact that I keep messing it up and I
Yep.
keep coming back to mess it up
Yep.
more.
Yep. I think I think speaking to that, like one of the most profound things that I learned and I've heard is that you have to fail fast because everybody who succeeds at some point has failed at something. So if the quicker that you fail, the quicker that you can learn from that experience, and if you need to pivot, you could pivot. If you need to do more research, you can do more research. But whatever it is, you know that success is on the other side of failure. So if
Mm,
you fail fast, the quicker you fail, the quicker you can figure out, what next steps are, what you need to do differently. So I just think there's nothing wrong with failing as long as you don't give up.
mm, mm. Yes, I love that.
Mhm.
One of my favorite people, Spanx.
Oh yeah, of course.
Spanx, right?
Like of course.
When she first made Spanx, so the owner of Spanx, her name is Sarah Blakely.
Hmm.
When she first made Spanx, do you know how like they got famous in the beginning?
I don't remember. I used to
She
know the
went
story.
on TV, she went
Mhm.
on news channels, she went anywhere she could possibly go and get in front of some people, and she started showing her booty, like shaking her booty, showing her Spanx. That is how Spanx got famous, but that was so totally her. Like I love her, and if you follow her, you will see like she is that goofy, she is that out of here. Like that's just who she is, right?
Mhm.
And that's how Spanx is. The other thing she says is that when she was younger at dinner, parents usually ask their kids questions about how their day was, and blah blah blah, whatever, whatever. She says her dad used to ask her, "Did you fail today?"
Mm,
And if you didn't fail at anything, then you must not have tried at anything.
that's right.
So, and I was like, that is insane. Like every day you should fail at something. Like somebody else that I follow, he's really big in the mental space. Like he owns a company called Mind Valley.
Okay.
And he says 50% of your goals should fail 50% of the time.
Mm,
That's
it is.
insane.
It is. But it's the truth though. Because let's think about it. Like if you're not, like you said, if you're not failing, that means you're not trying anything new.
Man. But I'm
That
like,
means, that means you're in the same routine over and over again and not really evolving, right? She's like, what, how do I, how
But
do I,
I'm over here like trying to plan and plan my plan and replan the plan and plan and plan and strategize the plan and plan and strategize and plan and plan to plan again because the plan wasn't a good enough plan. Listen.
let me tell you though, have you ever heard, okay, so I remember Will Smith, I think it was Will Smith, I'm pretty sure it was, how he said, I never made a plan B because
Mm,
something about because there was only a plan A because it detracts from plan A. So it's like there's only this is the plan. This is how I get to the plan, right? So there's going to be failures, successes, as long as you know your why, you know what your goal is, and
mm.
everything outside of that they say is a distraction, which is very interesting. It's so true, but it's very interesting.
But you know what? It's crazy that you said that, and that was confirmation for me because let me tell you, and I'm gonna pull this up because I wrote it this morning.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Every morning I journal, right? And I
Hmm.
was just writing out my thoughts, and I was thinking about this thing, this quote by Steve Harvey,
Hmm.
and he says that kind of like what you said. He says that everybody who has a plan B needs it. Everybody he's ever known that has a plan B needs it. And I was thinking about that and I was like, yes, everybody who has a plan B needs it. Also, everybody who doesn't have a plan B probably needs it at some point, but they choose not to act on it. They choose to stick with the plan A.
That's right.
They choose to keep going, like they choose to be consistent and keep pushing and stay in when nobody else will. And that is what makes them successful.
So true. So absolutely true. And it's so interesting that, that what I said and what you said just, it just aligns perfectly. So that, like you said, that means that we were supposed to be having this conversation this evening.
Yep, that's what's gonna be hit me,
Let me
hit
tell
me
you,
because
you know what
listen.
that reminds me of? Have you seen, there's a comic, it's like a little comic strip, and it's
Mhm,
talking about like entrepreneurship and making sure that you're consistent and striving and you keep going and keep going. So it has this little picture of this miner who's like picking with an axe through the mine. So they
mhm,
have the one on top and he's just picking and picking and picking, and then they have the one below who literally is like this close to the diamonds, but he's
mhm,
turned around, his head's down, pick is down, and he's walking away, and the other guy is still going, and it's just saying like this dude gave up and it was like this close. So
mhm,
that's the thing, like you never know when you're going to make it to what it is that you're trying to achieve, right? So if you give up, you might have been right there. So why have a plan B and go to plan B, which is going back to the car and drinking some water and going to another mine, when if your plan A, if you keep going and you're consistent, your goal, meaning your goal is like right there.
3 feet from gold.
Yeah, 3 feet.
Ah, man. But you don't know though. But you know something? That be my thing. Like, you don't know. I need to know. Like, can I just know? Like, sometimes I be wanting to hit God up, like, yo, I just need somebody to tell me, am I even close? Am I even, I be feeling like I'm walking around like this,
I
you know,
feel
like
you.
the whole game,
Yes.
and you trying to
Yes.
figure out if you're
Yes.
even close.
Close.
And I think it's kind of the same way with like social media marketing. Like, to
Mhm.
tie it all back in, it is
Yes.
kind of the same as social media marketing because it's like you have to keep going. You have to be
Yes.
consistent in order to see if something works.
Yes.
But in the beginning, it probably don't work
Correct.
because you're not consistent yet. So it's like you doing all this work on a maybe.
Exactly.
You know, that hurts me.
But here's the thing though, okay. If you know what your goal is, you believe in your worth and your value to get to that goal. All of the work is for something. It's not for nothing. It's not for naught. The consistency will pay off. And I know I feel the same way. Let me tell you, I everything that you're saying I agree with. I like small victories. I like, rewards. I like those type of things. And not knowing like if and when they're coming can be extremely frustrating. But then I realized when I changed my mindset and I understand that these things are going to happen, then my actions take over. And then I do the things that need to be done in order to reach the goal, right?
Mm. So kind of like thinking about why you do it instead of
Hmm.
what you're doing.
Hmm. Yep. What's your goal? What's your
So
goal?
how do you remind yourself? Because I'm gonna speak for everybody else.
Okay.
Okay. I'm
Speak
gonna be
for
no, but seriously though, like when you're in it,
it.
because I feel like you're correct.
Hmm.
When I remind myself of why I'm in it and not what I'm doing, I
Hmm.
do find myself being more productive, being better, being, more creative, like getting
Hmm.
back into the passion, the flow,
Yep.
like it
Yep.
comes a lot easier to me. However, however,
Bring it on. Bring it. Bring it.
I put a vision board on my wall in here
Uh-huh.
because of that reason, right? I wanted to remind myself of why, keep maintaining that reminder of why I'm doing this and not just these daily tasks of what I'm doing, right? I
Mhm.
want to remind myself of the purpose behind it, of what it really means, not just for me, but like I also have like client testimonials and
Exactly.
like people I've helped and the fun things that I've done in the good times, right? Like
Mhm.
things like that that really show me why I'm here, what I'm doing this for. I want to ask you,
Mhm.
what do you do like to keep that reminder, to keep that in the front of your head? Because I need everything.
Oh no, I feel
I
you.
still be wanting to not even look at that and just walk away. It be them days. It's
But here's the thing, everybody has those days, and it's okay to have those days. Like not every day is everybody going to be on all the time. And that's like self-care is a part of the journey, right? So you have
mm,
to make sure that you are taking care of yourself, taking care of your mind, body, soul, spirit, whatever it is that helps you to take care of yourself. Because once you take care of yourself, then you start to remember those things, right? You start to remember the reasons why that I'm worth this. This is
mm,
my goal and I'm worth it. So I think for me, that's what helps to kind of keep me on my journey and my path is that I know my value. I know that I'm worth it. I know that my son is worth it. My mom is worth it. My grandmother, my brother, my significant other are all worth it to me. And so that kind of helps motivate me. And then I have other days where I'm drinking tea and watching Ready to Love on OWN. So it just depends on it.
binge watch me, baby.
Oh yeah. So it just depends on the day.
That-
But but
yeah.
those days but those days are okay too. Like we can't beat ourselves up. We're not gonna be perfect, but we're just gonna remember, to have fun and enjoy the journey. That's what helps me is I remember to enjoy the journey and that not every day is gonna be gold and rainbows and kittens and sunshine.
That part. So, oh,
Hmm.
excuse me.
Hmm.
So I just want to grab that real quick. What you just
Hmm.
said, two things, like, and I feel like those two things were key. Number one was enjoy the journey, and
Yes,
number two was be okay that not every day is going to be full of joy.
that's right.
So enjoy the journey. To me, in my mind, the first thing I think about is like, we all have those days where like we feeling super productive, like I did today, and
Hmm. Me too.
you just checking off things on the checklist. You going, you moving, you flowing. It's all, like
Yep.
everything is just good. Like it just feels good, and you just in your zone. You know this is where you're supposed to be. This is who you are.
Yes. Yes.
Take full advantage of those days.
Absolutely. Those are
Mm.
rewards. Those are small victories.
Yes, yes. Take full advantage of those days. Do not interrupt yourself as much as you can. Keep going, keep pushing, get all the things done on those days. That is okay.
That's
Like
right.
take full use that to your
That's
advantage.
right.
Momentum is a fickle beast.
Yes.
The second thing, as a social media manager, you may know this. So I want to ask you. Um, I know what I do personally, but because
Mhm.
this is your profession, I'm going to ask you because this is what a lot of people ask me.
Okay.
Okay. On those days where you not feeling like
Mhm.
that, how do you maintain, how do you stay consistent, right? Especially even if behind the scenes you're taking a break, like
Mm-hmm.
you still have to show up on social media, you still have to have the posts, you still have to do
Mm-hmm.
meet with the clients, you still have to be all the things for all the people, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
how do you
Like,
maintain that consistency?
well, let me tell you what a lot of people do is that they batch. So what it is they get a whole bunch of different content. So they'll batch their posts, they'll batch their reels, those type of thing. On the days that you do feel like you're on it and you looking beautiful and you got the right amount of concealer on, all of those things. On those
I'm
days,
feeling myself.
right, I feel myself. Hey, yeah, that's on those days, that's when you batch a whole bunch. You do as much as you can. You get all your posts together, you get all your pictures taken, you do all of your reels, you do, videos. So that way, on the days where you don't feel as great or like as productive or as motivated, then you still have content that you can go ahead and post and still be productive and consistent and get it out.
Mm,
Because consistency is key, as we know and as we've said. So it's important to still get it out. But you can really just push a button, and then you know what I mean. And then if it's batched, then it'll be posted anyway, and then you can go ahead and lay back down.
yes. And speaking, I'm just gonna talk for us lames out here who don't know what batching is. Um, like me, because I had to ask Dr. Googs.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Um, but batching that base, Facebook, I learned
Mm-hmm.
over my last few years that Facebook, Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
Twitter, TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
and LinkedIn. I believe LinkedIn, don't quote me on that, but
Mm-hmm.
definitely the other ones. They all, oh, and YouTube, they
Mm-hmm.
all have a way to pre-schedule your posts
Yes.
for free.
Yes.
There's literally like when you have those good days like that, there's no
Yes.
excuse not
None.
to get done
None.
because you can get done like whatever you need to for the next couple of weeks
Exactly.
and then be done with it.
Exactly. And you can even do like a month's worth.
Or you could just hire Michael Clare and just
That's
forget about
right.
it all.
That's
Pay
what
for
I'm
it
saying.
for
Then,
the rest
we can collaborate, but I do it all. But yeah, no, seriously
of
though, because you can really do like whole months. Like, this is Women's History Month. Shout out to the women of the world. Um, yes, we do all the things. But so you can even do it that way. Like if you want to, honor someone for Women's History Month, but I have a lot of clients that are doing that. Next month is Financial Literacy Month, so I have a lot of people that are interested in, so you can always like focus on certain things like that. If you're having a hard time like coming up with ideas or what to, but you can batch all the way till Christmas if you so choose. If you have the energy for the day, just get
right.
as much done as you can, and then you know, don't beat yourself up and keep it moving.
Okay. I'm gonna something just came to my brain. One of my mentors, his
Hmm.
name is Arnim Bashard, right?
Hmm.
He make a couple million every year. So I'm gonna listen to what he say.
Oh.
Um so he says like when you're batching, right? And you know that you have the energy to schedule, you want to make these videos, you want to
Mhm.
create the content, but you're like, I really don't know what to say. If you're feeling like that, he says, do your ABCs.
Mm.
Literally,
Mm.
A, B, C, D. Do something for A that's related to your business. So I'm a business consultant, right?
Mhm.
So I would say
Mhm.
A, accounting,
Mhm.
B, business management,
Mhm.
C, capital or cash,
Mhm.
you know,
Oh yeah.
D all the way to Z.
Yeah.
Guess what? You do that twice and you got one thing for every week of the year, one topic for every week of the year,
Wow. That's impressive.
literally. So,
So what letter are you on today?
oh, I don't do that. I don't personally do that. Because I don't believe in it. Because I think it's a brilliant idea, honestly.
I
And
do
I wrote
too.
it down in case I can't come up with anything. But honestly, like I really do love what I do, and I'm always
Mhm.
reading and I'm always writing and I'm always coming up with something. I like strategizing, I like practicing, I like consulting. Like I do it for fun on the side. I
Okay.
volunteer somewhere and do it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I always have something to say.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's I got a big mouth. It's not an issue for
No,
me.
I don't think so. I think it's sufficiently sized.
Mm.
No, but that's amazing advice, especially when you're trying to think of things, of topics and different content to come up with, because I know that can be challenging. Um,
Right,
it can be challenging for some people.
right, right. So, just throwing that out there for anybody who needs it.
A
You're
little
welcome.
nugget, little nugget of truth and wisdom.
Right, right. Okay, so it is, we've officially been at this for a few minutes. So now that we're coming up on our time to get serious.
Okay.
Yeah, okay,
Okay. Let me
getting
drink my tea.
serious.
Hold on. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Three things. Firstly,
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask for all the people out there who are struggling with this, like who are struggling with how to be themselves and how
Mm-hmm.
to put themselves out there authentically in life, possibly, but definitely in marketing. What
Mm-hmm.
would be your like how to advice, like tangible, practical advice for them?
I think the first thing to think about, like I said, like what makes you unique? What differentiates you from other people, especially like in your specific topic area or niche, as we like to. So, what is it about you that makes you stand out? So, if you think about all the experiences you had, like you were a child, um, were you into the arts? Were you very strategic and problem solving oriented? What is it that resonates with you? What? Oh, I was like, oh, what? So, what is it that resonates with you? What is it about you that makes you unique? Like I said, are you a black woman? Are you a vegetarian snow skier? Are you, you know what I mean? So you have to really, you can narrow it down to things like that because it differentiates you from everybody else. The other thing is like, who do you want to work with? Like, who's your ideal client, right? So who is it that you're actually speaking to when you're putting this content out there? Is it somebody who likes to read Essence magazine and shop at Nordstrom, you know what I mean? So you have to really, really focus and narrow it down so you know that the voice that you have in your content is speaking directly to who you want to work with or who you want your client to be. So I think
Mm,
that those things are extremely, extremely important, especially when you're starting out. Because once you narrow it down, you know your why, you know your goals, you know who you are, who you identify as, what your identity is, your true identity, not like who others think you should be, who you think others want you to be, but who you really are for yourself. Because a lot
mm,
of times I think that we're so focused on how other people view us that we don't really know what our own identity is, and then it makes it very difficult. But once you identify those things, then your actions are going to actually be in line with what you identify as. So I think that that's the most important thing initially.
maintaining that integrity. Yes, yes.
Mhm,
And I think that's so difficult for a lot of people, just
mhm,
really just being you, right? Like
mhm,
it's so, and it shouldn't be,
mhm,
and you should feel secure and you should
mhm,
be okay with being okay. But I know that a lot of people out there aren't. But
mhm.
I just want to say that we love you here
That's
and
right.
we
That's
want you to be you. And
that's right.
somebody out there needs you to be you and do what only you can do.
So true. That's the thing. That's the truth. That's the truth. Because there are certain people that only you can help. Just
Mm,
like there are certain people that only can help me. You know what I mean? So it's just, and you can learn things. You can learn things from anybody if you're willing to listen and if it resonates with you. So I think that is so true. We love everybody. You're right. We love everybody. Be
yeah.
as your authentic self. Show up as your authentic, true self.
And if you're the mom with the kids in the background who is running around crazy and you don't really know how to run your business and the wild and craziness of life, listen, this is what I'm here for. I live for it, okay?
And if you don't want to give the accolades and toot your own horn and all of your glory on your social media platforms, this is what I'm here for, okay?
Okay, all right. Yes. Okay. So, which was my next question? Where can the people find you? Where can they contact you? What are you doing? What are you up to?
Oh yeah, there's so many different ways. So it varies, of course, depending on what it is that you're interested in. But as far as my business name, I'm gonna put this in the private chat. Let's see. Can I put this in there? Oh, I can. Okay,
Mhm.
so my company is Mental Swag Design Solutions. Oh, I can't put it in there. Wait a second. So it's actually www.mentalswagdesignsolutions. That's the best way to get a hold of me in terms of like social media management. I also have my Instagram, which is at Snooty Vegan. So that's for my veganism, my
Okay.
vegan transition coaching. And then I also have my t shirts, which is that for my t shirts.
Notifications. I love that name, by the way, Snooty.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I decided that I'm not bougie, but I'm a little snooty. Just a smidgen.
Just a little bit.
Anyway, I digress. But yeah, so but if, for the people that are following online, how can they find you in all of your business glory?
Me and all my glory.
All your
I
glory.
am at Real Rebel School everywhere.
Mhm.
Um, my website though is myventureteam.com.
Perfect.
So yeah, um, feel free to like, comments, and follow. We love
Of
it here.
course. Of
Um,
course.
and lastly, I just want to say thank you. So many, we got so many OMG that's me's and yes, so so I feel like we did something here tonight,
I do too.
even if we did just goof around. It's okay.
Hey, it's all work and no play makes it very non-enjoyable, and we're enjoying the journey here.
Yeah, we don't want that.
That's right.
Um, so again, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for your expertise and your time. I sincerely appreciate you, and we'll be talking soon. Okay?
Thank you so much, and thank you for all your support and for the conversation.
Of course.